Welcome back to the Shades of Green radio show, simulcast on KDWN 720 AM and KDWN 101.5 FM in Las Vegas. Our show is produced by the Green Alliance of Nevada, sponsored by MV Energy, and I'm your host, Stan Hannell, filling in for Paul Ira today. Julie Chadburn from the Clark County Water Reclamation District has been talking with us about the water care cycle, how water, once it leaves your toilet and sink, goes into the sewage system, is pumped across the county to your local processing facility, and then it goes through a really extensive array of treatment to reinvigorate that water, separate it from the sludge, and even the sludge is treated and passed on to the landfill. So once it goes through your facility, it enters the Las Vegas Wash and heads over to Lake Mead. Basically, how does that work? Or it's almost like a secondary natural filtering system. It also goes up into the wetlands park too along the way.
It does. So the water that leaves the Flamingo Water Resource Center mixes with water that came from the city of North Las Vegas and the city of Las Vegas treatment facilities. It's then joined by the water from the city of Henderson's facility in the Las Vegas Wash, and then it dumps into Lake Mead through the Las Vegas Bay. And it does, a lot of our water that leaves our facility does feed into the wetlands park. So it does go through some more natural cleaning through those wetlands.
It's the filtering of the organism, the vegetation there. That's amazing. And so basically we've been talking about this drought that we've been in for over 15 years. And so your work has become much more important. What is the state of Lake Mead and Lake Powell that feeds the Colorado River?
Well, I believe that I've heard that Lake Mead is just about 38% full, and I think that Lake Powell is a little bit under the 50% full. So what we do becomes important is return flow credits.
Right.
We recycle nearly 100% of the water that's used indoors. And all of that water that goes down your drain in your home that we capture and treat, we reclaim that, we return it to Lake Mead. And for every gallon of treated wastewater that we return to the lake, that allows us to take one more gallon out of the lake above our allotment. That's
great. Yeah, and I think it's something like 300,000 acre feet per year that we get, and that's really tiny compared to the California and Arizona customers along the river. And that goes back to the early, when it was established, I guess back after Hoover Dam was built, and so those laws, I guess, get modified a little bit, but so it's really important that we, I guess right now, do have enough to sustain our community.
Right.
But as our community grows, it's going to need more water eventually. So it's really, out here in the Mojave Desert, a tremendous resource that we really need to be more attentive to, I think, all the time. What items should Nevada water consumers not flush down their toilets or sinks that might cause problem at the water treatment plant? Something that's going to make your job harder to do.
Right. Well, our main goal is to to get as much water as we can from our homes and businesses that we can treat and return back to the environment. And there's things that people put down the sink or flush down the toilet that can cause a stoppage somewhere, like in your home or somewhere along our collection system, that then prevents that water to get to us. It might go into the environment where it's a public health and environmental issue. And again, I mentioned this before, but really our toilets and our sinks are not trash cans. So one of the worst inventions...
People forget that sometimes.
The garbage disposal gives people a false sense of security. And really, it should just be water, soapy water that's going down your drain. We want you to keep any fats, oils, grease from your cooking. All of that needs to go in the garbage. And no, just by washing it down with hot water, that does not solve the problem, because that grease is going to go further down the line where it's mixed in cold water and mixes with your neighbor's grease, and it can cause a big problem. Another thing that people flush down the toilet are the disposable wipes, and they're marketed as flushable, and they do flush, but you could flush a golf ball. It doesn't mean that you should. The flushable wipes really are, they're a great product. They're more popular now by evidence when you go shopping for them. and we're not telling you not to use them. Just when you do, put it in the trash can.
Right.
They don't break down like toilet tissue, and you kind of have to think about it. What you're using it for. You don't want the system. So when
Right.
it gets to our pump stations and to our plant, it really messes havoc with our pumps. It just you get these big wads of the wipes, and we actually have to pull all those out in order for our pumps to work.
Right. I saw you had a cleaning area where somebody has to go in manually and make sure it's you pull that out. And when you took us to one of the side processing rooms, there's a whole big dump truck that was all full of just these wipes that you've pulled out of the system before you could even treat the water. So it's amazing how that all can glom together here.
And I think from the tours aspect, I felt like that was one of the most impactful visual
Right.
piece.
It is.
Was seeing the mounds and mounds of those wipes.
Right, and you don't think you're washing your dishes, and you don't think about what you just washed off your plate down the sink or what you just flushed down the toilet. And really, one person is not going to make that big of a difference. But it's not just one person.
Right,
It's
it
you
adds
and
up.
your
A million
neighbors and your
people.
friends and their neighbors and their friends. And it really is, when you come on the tour and you see that, it really, and that you're right, it really is impactful, because you do then kind of see what impact your actions have on the system.
Yeah, every little thing makes a difference. And I also thought that visual where you showed how toilet paper versus a wipe, one dissolves, one doesn't dissolve, that was pretty interesting too.
Yeah.
That was great.
I have a set of jars that obviously here on radio I don't have with me today, but I have a set of jars that I take with me everywhere that I go, and before I leave I'll empty one out, put fresh water in, throw a piece of toilet paper in, but however I have a flushable wipe that's been in my jar for several years.
Wow, that's
And
amazing. It has
that
not
wipe,
broken down.
it looks the same as it
Yeah.
did the day it went in there, and the
Yeah.
toilet paper breaks up instantly.
Right.
Yes.
See, and I don't think people realize that, and those are just simple things that we as a community can start contributing and using a little bit of common sense. And so this is good. These are great tips.
Yeah, and you've even gone more active to try and create programs that will encourage people and educate in this. Can you talk about Pain in the Drain program?
Sure. So what we ask is that you don't be a pain in the drain. This is our educational campaigns. There's different umbrellas under it, but we have, this is our FOG, fats, oil, grease, and grit, where we want you to throw away all of those items that would be from your cooking and in your
Right.
kitchen that you don't
Put it
think
in the
about
garbage can,
putting down
yeah.
the disposal. Your salad dressings, your eggshells, your coffee grinds, get as much of it in the garbage as you can, or compost if that's what you do. These are great items for composting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Excellent
Yeah.
ideas.
And then the items for your toilet, so the wipes, and it's not just wipes, it's other personal care products, sanitary products,
Right.
condoms. Those things really need to go in the garbage as much as, as some people find that distasteful. It's easier just to have a garbage can right next to your toilet, put, a bag in it, and then just get it right out to your garbage then.
Because it's going to go to landfill eventually, so
it's
it's
going to
just
wind
easier.
up in the same place eventually.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
And then we also have our medicine disposal program, and
Right.
this is we've placed. It's been in existence for about 10 years now. We've placed boxes in all of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department substations, as well as the City of North Las Vegas and Mesquite and Boulder City Police Departments.
Right.
And people can go to the substations during business hours and drop off all their expired medicine so it doesn't go into the water.
That's great. Yeah, don't dump pills down the toilet.
That's really
a good idea.
important.
And we'll talk more about the upcoming Clean Water Fest when we come back.